All right. Good morning. Let's see. We are all set up and good to go. Starting a couple minutes early today, but I think this will be the norm moving forward. So welcome to everybody. Happy Tuesday. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is June 8th, 2021. Let's get right into it. Starting off with our SPY. So we talked briefly yesterday about structure in the market, a lot of overall indexes and things that we are tracking seem to be setting the stage for potentially breakout structure. And ultimately, while we haven't seen a ton of conviction at this time, we have a couple of clues coming in the tech sector, which is continuing its strength. We have a return of some additional strength in the small caps. And at this time, we're simply waiting to see if the SPY and things like the Dow can ultimately follow suit after some of the upper strength that we've seen in other indexes. With our QQQ, there has been a return of some of that sort of additional breakout structure that we've seen in the past. We've had some previous moments in time where consolidation and then sort of a building of energy led to stronger breakout structures, and these lasted for periods of upwards of a couple of days to multiple weeks. But today, I figured we would talk a bit about what may have sparked some of this renewed interest and how we can look into what is coming this week and start to prepare for different scenarios depending on what is coming in this upcoming report, which is going to be the CPI report. So shifting gears slightly from analyzing the technical side into more of a overview discussion of some of the data that we've been seeing, I'm going to shift into more of a text-based discussion and just start to outline some of the information that came out last week. So as we've been entering into this new phase of the market over, let's say, ever since November timeframe of last year, one of the topics that has been pretty well discussed has been inflation. And with inflation, which for those who don't necessarily have a good understanding of the definition, this is going to be just sort of a general decline of purchasing power for a given currency. So in our respects, we're looking at things like the dollar, and the inflation of the dollar leads to that lack of buying power or purchasing power over time. Now, with this inflationary policy, we have seen some actions taken by the Federal Reserve that have facilitated the inflation that we are seeing across different asset classes and across the respective currency that we're working in. And the topic of conversation is starting to shift slightly from inflation, which there has been debate whether this is transitory inflation, this will be sort of short term and ultimately sort of level out or adjust itself to a recovering economy. Will this inflation lead to more hyperinflation or even stagflation, to sort of, I would say, negative scenarios for potential economic growth and stability inside of the marketplace? And with this inflationary policy that we are currently in, what is the next step? For that, the discussion has shifted somewhat into what's called tapering. And for those who are unfamiliar with that terminology, this was something that originally entered the conversation around 2013. At the time, Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke basically stated that the Fed was willing to taper some of the bond buying program that was occurring after the financial crisis of 2008 and 2009. Now, at the time, this buying program was known as quantitative easing. There have certainly been some aspects of that occurring today, but with a tapering of any sort of monetary policy, the simple approach is that there would be a reduction in what we have seen, which is additional ease in borrowing money, sort of cheaper overall rates, and an ability to increase the printing of money, which has led to some of the inflationary shifts that we have seen in the market. Now, a lot of our asset classes that we review each and every day have benefited from some of these policies. Some of the easiest ones to look at have been commodities. Ever since we've had this sort of enacting of some of the Federal Reserve's policies, a lot of our commodity assets have been increasing in price. Certainly oil and natural gas have seen some benefit from it. Corn and soybeans, a lot of our metals have really benefited from it, and that's been supplemented by the weakness we've also seen inside of the dollar. But with this and the fact that all things do eventually either come to an end or change, what is the market using to sort of determine where we are inside of these policies, and how quickly is inflation increasing or decreasing? Has it stabilized? And with that stabilization, can we expect a tapering of the Federal Reserve's policies? So last week, we had one report that the market tends to use for sort of reviewing and analyzing some of these changes. And that first report was the non-farm payroll jobs report, which occurred, I believe, on Thursday. Now, in the previous jobs report, we had an interesting scenario where the expected result was roughly 1 million jobs, whereas the actual came in much lower, I believe around, I would want to say 200 to 300,000. I don't have the exact number in front of us. But that disparity between expected and actual caused a little bit of concern in the market, due to the fact that had that been a catalyst for something known as wage inflation or wage push inflation, that can lead to the Federal Reserve having to potentially consider tapering, as their policies would not be essentially working in the way that they anticipate. They're looking to essentially get the economy back on track. They're looking to have job creation to be sort of the stimulus for economic recovery. And in doing so, at some point, there will be a stable time frame where they can consider tapering their policies throughout. But in I guess in an economic condition where there is a lack of jobs, employers have to consider increasing wages, and that sort of brings about the same inflation discussions and can ultimately lead to no change with the Federal Reserve taking action. Now, in this latest report, we did see a miss inside of the jobs report, but the scenario was slightly different. The fact that this latest jobs report, we were expecting about 1 million jobs, and we came in at approximately 560,000. this kind of put us in a scenario that was right in between two, I would say like two inflationary scenarios, but we kind of skirted right in the middle. So had we been over expectation, then that would mean that inflation was starting to sort of increase too quickly. The policies may need to adjust to that and start to pull back on that, additional printing of currency. And then the under expectation would be similar to last month, where wage inflation may become the next topic of discussion, and that ultimately would once again lead to potential consideration of tapering. Now, because we are somewhere in the middle, it seems as if the market really responded well to that report. And what we've seen inside of specifically the NASDAQ, with this large breakout inside of a technical structure, we're also seeing just a very straightforward money flow moving back into, I would say, higher multiple stocks. Doesn't have to necessarily be technology, but just say growth or something that has a little bit more of a future expectation of return inside of its fundamental multiples. That seems to be sort of an anticipatory action of the marketplace before we receive the second piece of information, which is going to be the CPI report. Now, we talked briefly about the jobs report. Hopefully I explain, at least in some general scenario, how this kind of sets up. But the idea behind judging inflation in the marketplace is that you need multiple pieces of information. You need to see how jobs are being created, how many jobs, private versus sort of the overall sector of jobs. And then you also need to look at consumer goods. And the CPI measures exactly that. It measures prices, baskets of goods and services, which are the primary consumer needs. So think about going to your grocery store, buying essentials for basically of living, and seeing those prices increase or decrease over time. That is something that the CPI attempts to provide a weighted average for across multiple baskets, baskets of different items. So with the CPI coming out later this week, we are basically anticipating that if the scenario is such that the Fed's policies are working as expected, then the CPI should track somewhere close to expected range or slightly lower. Essentially, we want to see a cooling off or a sort of as expected result inside of whether goods and services are increasing in their relative price over time. And that would sort of lead to, things not necessarily inflating too quickly ahead of schedule. Now, if that does not occur and we see that the CPI numbers are coming much hotter than expected, which did occur last month, and there did once again have a little bit of sort of a shock to the market, maybe leading to some of the consolidation we've seen in recent past, then that brings up an additional sort of notch in the wage inflation discussion, and whether or not that is going to lead into our next phase of monetary policy. Now, with all of these items, these are two reports that I think as investors and traders, we need to at least have a sense of what to expect with these reports, how the market tends to react to them, and how to interpret the price action after the report actually comes out. So ultimately, we can have sort of a historical set of examples where this report comes in hot as expected or cold, and then what do we expect the market to do based on, I would say, consumer and market participant expectations. If inflation is to continue inside of this marketplace, then there needs to be aspects of reactions inside of either our high multiple growth sectors and the fact that they don't necessarily like to see yields increasing. And that needs to be coupled with some of the asset classes that do really benefit from inflation. These are going to be, once again, our commodities, some of our metals, and specifically yield products increasing overall, which leads to a depreciation of bond prices. So as we move forward into Thursday with the CPI report, one thing I'll be interested in is how the market is essentially pricing in the anticipated result of that report. The Qs appear to be moving higher, almost as if they're anticipating good earnings. A lead up into earnings. We see that quite often with individual stocks. Now, whether or not this report comes in and the market has priced in this information ahead of time, or there is some shock or surprise with these metrics, whether or not the NASDAQ reacts appropriately. And ultimately, given that we are looking at price movement inside of the NASDAQ, assisting some of the structure inside of the SPY and maybe the Dow and the IWM sort of leading, the Dow and the IWM, trying to think how to say it, but basically those two markets anticipating some of the adjustments in price. Can we see the NASDAQ continue this upward trend with additional inflationary information in hand? So, trying to think how best to shift gears, but basically, the last piece of this information is, over time, we have heard the Federal Reserve mention that this inflationary cycle is going to be transitory. And the idea being that at the point in time when the economy is recovered to satisfaction, the tapering process will occur. The pullback inside of that policy will start to adjust. And ultimately, the expectation is that things will stabilize back to some normalized range of inflation. Now, with these sort of monthly reports that we're receiving at the moment, the market is sort of on edge with regards to potential either inflation or wage inflation adjustments that need to be made, and the ultimate response, which would be tapering. In the event that there is a period of stagflation, however, which is going to be not only high inflation, but high unemployment. So you'll have periods of time where consumer goods, basically all commodity prices are increasing, and yet there is not a strong economic recovery. People are either unemployed heavily, or there's not a lot of corporate growth leading to additional hiring. If that period were to occur, that can lead to a market cycle, something that is reflected inside of the actual stock market, that may be one more of a defensive approach, where instead of seeing certain high multiple stocks outperform, we may have periods of time where more defensive sectors, think utilities, think consumer staples, even think something that has high yields, those particular asset classes and sectors overall may outperform in that environment. And what we're trying to do moving into this week is the market trying to essentially change phases around this time? Are we seeing the early signs of a shift? And if we are, how can we prepare as investors and as traders? How can we shift our focus from basically chasing certain short-term movements inside of things that do not have a lot of additional tailwind supporting them, like we saw in technology last year? And how can we shift our focus into things that actually benefit from the monetary policies and other economic catalysts that we have inside of these reports that are being generated? So I'll probably just basically stop there and say this week and this particular CPI report, I would pay particularly close attention to, more so than in recent history, because last month we had two, I guess, outputs of these reports, and the market did have quite a bit of a volatile reaction to them, specifically inside of the tech sector. And we did see a lot of adjustment inside of yield increase, yield adjustment inside of the bond yields that may have been just sort of a reaction to some of these findings inside of the reports. If that were to occur again, or if we see something slightly different, the idea is that we want to take advantage of it in the short term, specifically as we are seeing this lead up in technology into maybe potentially Thursday. And then ultimately the reaction afterwards, we don't necessarily want to fight that reaction too heavily until it settles, because at that time the market will have a lot of the information it needs to make the adjustments to these stocks that it deems necessary. You know, if technology and certain growth sectors are a bit too overheated, it will ultimately correct itself to appropriate levels, and we'll try to take advantage of that downside move and maybe even a potential bounce inside of a technical structure. If things are tracking as expected and we do not see anything that would spark a tapering, then ultimately the tech sector may continue to outperform, and there wouldn't necessarily be a headwind against it in regards to federal policy changes. So all this said, we will look at this more closely once the numbers do come out. Obviously, we'll talk more about that inside of pre-market prep, and we'll give some of those numbers as they are reported. But more so than the numbers and the, I would say, fine-tune analysis that may be required to interpret them, ultimately we want to see how the market actually reacts to them. That's always going to be key, because at the end of the day, the jobs reports numbers may have missed, but certain parts of the market liked the fact that they missed based on the, I guess, predication of what's to come. So the anticipatory nature of the market and sort of leading into what's expected is what we as traders actually love to see, because there tends to be very little in the way of, I would say, adjustment or sort of consolidation as the market's basically trying to anticipate and expand the range of some, thing that we'd like to trade, and whether it be an index, a particular stock or sector, or just an overall adjustment of the market as a whole. And that'll be what we're going to be looking at more closely into Thursday's session. So with that, I think I will basically say that we need to stay on guard as always, but we do have something to actually look forward to, some known piece of information that the market is trying to build into this week. And whether or not that reacts or that has a reaction that is strong in the market, we should be able to see it and anticipate, or be prepared for that ultimate adjustment. So now, as I get to the end of the session, I basically just want to look across the board and see, what is moving versus what is not. We are still seeing a bit of a decline inside of things like our TNX index. I'll move this over slightly. So we still have a bit of a fall off inside of the 10-year yields. Obviously, the tech sector being correlated inversely to this is going to likely have a decent reaction to this. We've seen the IWM continue to be strong. Yes, we are at some technical resistance levels, but we are climbing through them fairly well. And as long as we can continue this upward trend, once again, sort of a buildup into potentially the CPI report, that can be something we can take advantage of in the short term. And as we looked at yesterday, oil and natural gas, yes, they are at some psychological points. Crude is pulling back slightly, but the overall energy sector still remains one of our stronger overall sectors across the board. We want to see if we can find viable pullbacks in a trending structure and just sort of look for areas and targets of resistance moving into these upper ranges that we have not been in a couple of years. So with all of that said, obviously stay sharp and stay safe out there. Trade what's in front of you and always be looking for ways to add additional edge to your trading. I think having a bit of knowledge and understanding of these reports can be one additional way that once you learn it and sort of understand the market's interpretation of these results, you can add that basically to your trade book or just have it in your back pocket and never necessarily be surprised when you see it come out and have the expected results that the market tends to take. So just additional information and knowledge to leverage. Obviously, we'll look and see how the market deals with that information into this week. So that said, I'm Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Hope you appreciated the lecture today, and we'll talk more tomorrow. So trade safe.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. I hope everyone's having an amazing weekend. Well, no, I hope you had an amazing day yesterday, and hope you're having an amazing morning. Not there just yet. Norm, how you doing today? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Let's get into some of the action yesterday, guys. We had a pretty interesting day. I gotta tell you, it was not for me at least. Was not the easiest trading day. There was a lot of chop on some of the stuff we were watching. That's the spy right there. But let's look at Envis starting off on that one on our list. This one here. Let's get our 5 minute chart in place. Here we go. And looking at this one here, guys, again, you could tell how choppy this one was at the bell. It does get a little bit better down the line, breaking out of the moving averages, the VWAP, and then out of this high of day here in a beautiful continuation. So that turned out pretty good. But the market open was very, very choppy, guys. You got some drops, you got some pops. Just every candle overlapping the previous candle. That's never great price action. And we just didn't see anything great out of Envis yesterday. Here we had Workhorse, another one that also gave you some chop here starting out, dropping down. It looked like it was going to engulf and drop. It doesn't do that. Does bounce back. Now here, very difficult to time this pop or expect this pop. But that turned out pretty nice if you were patient and was able to get a good entry. That was the key here because after this happening here, very tough to trust that this thing is going to go and break towards that 1427. It does do that, gives you a little bit of continuation, and then you get some little bit of action here. But again, not great follow through as we have seen in the past. Here is BB. BB was the best trading stock yesterday, I think, at least on my list. This thing took off. I mean, it struggled for the first 15 minutes or so, and then it just took off here nicely. Comes back and tests this 1484. That was a level we had on our charts, and you can see it takes off from there, breaks the high of the day, and then again all day this thing was just ripping higher and higher. So that was an amazing trade yesterday. I think the best one, even better than AMC yesterday. AMC was okay, but not great. Didn't give you great continuation. They did have a couple of great pops, but the continuation were nowhere near what BB had. If you look at BB, just traded very, very well. CCIV was another one that, again, it looks a little bit choppy, but guys, this is a great setup here. Breaking out of the pre-market highs. We love when the stocks do that. And if you missed it, it does come back and retest the level again. You don't get in here on this one. You wait for confirmation. This thing wants to go towards the top, and it does. Gives you a beautiful confirmation there. Volume starts coming in, and you could have taken this nicely to the next level, 25.52. And then here it tries to do the same thing. Now it's a little bit extended, so it kind of fails a few more times than not. It does take a while to go and hit that next level, 26.14. So it took a bit, but the start of this one was pretty neat. Heading over to BNGO again. This was no good, guys. Quick pop here, nice 5 minute opening range breakout, possibly, and that's about it. Then the rest was just very choppy on this one. Apple had a nice drop, guys, actually, and it's funny because Apple yesterday had their event. Again, not usually that stuff does give you more volume, doesn't really move the stock one way or the other, but nice drop here yesterday, guys. Beautiful continuation on Apple. It does find a base over at 124.80ish, and then from there you do get a bit of a bounce into the market close. So, but a nice open on Apple, great continuation. At Apple and BB yesterday, definitely the best ones on our list. Norm, what do we got as far as the SPY? What's the latest and greatest?
All-time highs, baby. We talked about it yesterday morning. We were unable to get through 423. We have done so this morning. Pre-market's trading higher than the SPY has ever been. I won't go too much deeper into it as Jared has his engineering the markets and trade deficit at 8:30. Nothing interesting there, really. Job openings 10 a.m. So not crazy economic data or anything today. We'll just see if how this momentum continues. I will say that a couple underlying things going on this morning. One of them, of course, we spoke a few weeks ago about the pipeline that was shut down by hackers from Texas to the U.S. East Coast. And I guess yesterday it was announced that the U.S. government was able to get at least like a portion of the money back. I think it was just under half of the ransom money they paid back. It caused Bitcoin to get hit. So some of the Bitcoin stuff trading lower on that because, as we've talked about in this in the room before, Bitcoin is the currency of criminals. So I guess if the government can take it and seize it, that makes it a little less enticing for them, amongst other reasons. But kind of an interesting deal there. It makes it,
It
I
sure
guess,
is.
slightly more secure, but less secure in a way. So they're getting hit on that news. And, we had this big internet outage that hit big companies all over the place this morning out of Fastly, FSLY. It really hadn't done a whole lot. And then the other thing is, we had this SPAC mania where essentially any kind of SPAC was just jumping like crazy a few months ago, and then they all came back to earth, and they're starting to ramp again. A lot of the names we see on this list either are SPACs or they became public via SPAC in the last 6 months or year or so. So anyway, kind of some interesting undercurrents going on right now.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Let's get to it. We got a very long list this morning. Let's get rid of what we had yesterday on our list here. We'll remove this. We'll do some rows in here, and we'll get started here with CLOV. This was gapping up 37% this morning. So nice big pop, as you can see here. Pre-market action, very active. Did get going yesterday. Had a good day, guys, too. Kind of made its way up here pretty nice. So I ended up the day well. And today they're crushing it. 30 million shares traded right now. They're up 37%. Norm, news on this one overall? What's happening?
This is a meme stock, man. This is Wall Street Bets. This is one of the aforementioned SPACs that was a high flyer at the end of last year, beginning of this year, came back down, and now it's both running with the SPACs and the meme stuff. So.
Yep. So this one here, guys, very much in play right now. 30 million shares traded, up 36%. We'll definitely take a look at this one. PDSB, this one here is 18 million shares float. Not looking too good right now. A little bit on the lower side as far as the float. But as far as their pre-market action and their daily, looks pretty nasty here. So I hope that we can find something that looks better than this today in this huge list that we have here. So I'm going to skip it. I don't think it's even worth adding to our risky pile. I think we need to find something better. So
I'll throw out the catalyst on this. This is, I agree with you, but just for it is a low float at 17.6 million. They did have it's a biotech. They had some, I think phase 2 news came out. So that's their catalyst, but I agree. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I don't like what I'm seeing there. Let's head over to LEDs. LEDs was on our list yesterday. I didn't see how LEDs actually traded. I didn't look at it. Let's take a look here. It was not great yesterday. Here's yesterday's action, 6-7. It was popping up with some volume, but nothing good out of it. Again, this one's a little bit funky. We've seen it trade good before in the past, but the last couple of times it has popped up here, it hasn't done pretty well. So I'm inclined to keep it off our list today. It is up 13%, but again, just look at the way this thing is trading. It's really not that clean. So I'll stay away from it for now. SFIX here, they are up nicely 11% this morning. 121,000 shares traded. Earnings last night, nice big pop here.
Earnings narrower loss than expected. I actually thought about getting into a little bit of a swing on this. As people start going back to work, they've been sitting around for a year. Their clothes might not fit, and I think they're starting to order some stuff. So
absolutely. If they did not get that Peloton, they're in a little bit of trouble there. Guys, let's take a look here. FX up 11%. It's a nice big pop, guys. I do like this one. Daily looks good as well. This one could be a hit or miss. At times, we've seen it before have a great catalyst and not trade very well. Let's see what this does today. Let's keep an eye on it. We do have shares for short on this one.
It does get very spready, and it can be tough to trade. It jumps around a lot. It was just spread right there was just at about 50 cents or so. It's 33 right now, but nevertheless, it trades somewhat thinly. So just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Very careful with this one, guys. It could be a hit or miss. We'll put it on here. Maybe after we go through our list, this could be a nice possible. We'll move it down. Here's Mosey this morning. They are up 9.7, 453,000 shares traded. Another one I did not really take a look at yesterday. Big drop here pre-market, and then didn't do much. Didn't do a whole lot, guys. Is that the market open? Yeah, that's horrible. That's pretty bad. So I'm thinking I wanted to make sure I was not looking at the pre-market, but that's pretty bad. So today's pre-market action looks a little bit better than yesterday. I don't remember if we have more volume or not. We are up 9.7. It's just this so horrible yesterday. I don't want to even put it on here. For 5.9 million shares float, we need more action. We need more conviction that this thing is going to trade well. And yesterday was not it. Workhorse looks good today. I love this breakout on Workhorse right now. We didn't get such a great trading day yesterday. Hopefully today we can get some continuation. We definitely have a lot more volume than we did yesterday, and that's probably given the fact that we're getting closer to an important level of support and resistance right on here. A little bit higher than that. We even have more support around 15 of 30 or so. So this looks good. I like the pre-market action. I like the volume. I like the daily for a possible breakout and continuation. We're kind of breaking out now, really. Let's see if that continues. Workhorse is a good one today. ASO or ASO. This one this morning is up 7.8. Horrible pre-market action.
Yeah, really spotty.
Yeah, only 115,000 shares traded. Doesn't look good.
They had earnings this morning, but that doesn't. I mean, that's some weak volume for an earnings number to catalyst and nothing happening on it. So.
Fully agree, guys. So no good here. Let's head down over to BNGO. This one is up 7.6 this morning. Had a good day yesterday. Ended well. I mean, it traded. How did it trade? I traded okay. It traded okay. So this one here yesterday, guys. Possible continuation today. They're up above their highs of yesterday, right? Obviously. Could be good. I like the daily. I don't like the pre-market action as much, although they got 1.6 million shares traded. So that's quite some volume. I believe that's more than yesterday as well. Let's see if we can get some good continuation out of this one this morning. We'll remove some of these levels. We'll get some fresh ones later down the line. Fuel cell here today, they are up 6.3 right now, 1.2 million shares traded. Big day yesterday on fuel cell. Broke out of this great area of consolidation right over here. So had a really nice day here. Look at this run here, just nonstop right out of the bell yesterday. So that was pretty nice. Today they're up 6.3. Good volume, worth watching. We'll have fuel cell right on here as well. And might stop here, guys, because this list is very long. Let's see if we have some names that stick out. Here's GameStop. GameStop's daily, very interesting, guys, popping up here, 6.4. Again, just a slightly difficult stock to trade, so just be careful. I'm not going to add it to my list, but I think this is a good one. Looking at this daily, 6.4 and up to 258,000 shares traded. BB was amazing. BB actually traded very good yesterday. We're going to add BB to the list today. They normally do not trade that well, but yesterday they were definitely on fire. Right now, up another 5.7 with 5.6 million. AMC is also in play, guys. I like the way the daily's looking as well. They didn't trade as clean yesterday. Let's see if today could be the difference. We have 7 million on AMC right now, so that one's looking good. MRVL, no, it's gapping up here pretty nice, 5.6, but pre-market action is not great at all.
Usually it's not a great trading stock, but...
Yeah, I like this daily, but that's really about it. There's nothing else really going on here. AHT, we had this on our list yesterday. We didn't. I don't believe we liked the way this looked, and today's not looking any better. So we'll skip on that one. Space. Let's take a look here at Space. Space is looking interesting on the daily, guys. We're getting some good pre-market action. We're back at this 36.34. We have this level here. Probably. Oh, here it is. That's where that's coming from. So this is looking good. Let's add Space here. Space is looking real good. Put that on there. Let's see what else, guys. We have TRY has been active the last couple of days. Their daily also looks good. I'm not going to add it because I just have way too many. But you can tell here, this thing looks pretty nice as far as possible breakout. Tesla is in play, guys. Tesla is definitely in play. We'll add it on here. I know usually I don't like to trade Tesla much, but today they're looking really good. 962,000 shares traded, and they are up here at 3.4 with a very interesting daily hitting against this area of resistance right on here. This is nice. It looks very good. NNDM, no. CCIV was good. It was decent yesterday. Today, they're looking okay actually today too. Not decent. They were great yesterday. Today they're looking good too. CCIV. Let's add that on here. We'll take a closer look.
They are.
Yeah, they're looking good.
On my swing.
No, your swing was amazing, man. Talk about, are you still in it? You have to be still in it. Yeah. This is amazing. So you got it at 23, right? 23 or something?
Ish, yeah. 23 and change.
Very nice. So that's working out excellent, 27.35 right now. Envis looks good for a possible breakout. Their pre-market action sucks, guys. It's not good right now. Their volume is on the lighter side compared to what they can trade. We've seen the volume the stock can put in and the moves they can make when they get that volume. We're not seeing that now. But their dailies is setting up pretty nice here. Higher highs, higher lows, excuse me, against this area of resistance. So if we can get a push up above this, we can hopefully squeeze some people out of their positions and get going here. So that is looking interesting. Maybe a good possible for today. I doubt it'll stay here because this list, guys, is looking very, very good. All right, I'm going to stop with the gaps up because this just keeps going. I want to give you guys a chance to throw some stuff at me. Gapping down, we have COUP. Is not looking good at all. Earnings are down 8%.
I don't think it trades very well.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Volume is extremely light as well. We'll skip LBRT, another one that does not look great. Doesn't get great volume neither. They're down 7.5, just not great. TIGR, this one traded good a couple of times, not always, but it's a couple of times a year where we had some really good trading on TIGR. And today they're down 6.5, but they're trying to recover. Already done some of that here after this huge gap down. Yeah, let's take a closer look at that one today. Armed, low flow stock, no good, guys. No volume really. Not a great pre-market action. Down 6%, but just not great. CAN. Norm, you talked about this a little bit. The Bitcoin stuff is a little bit down today, but they don't look great though as far as for us to trade. So we're gonna keep them off for now. But you know what's going on there? They're a little bit down this morning with the news that's hitting them. WPC is down 3%, 150,000. Doesn't look great. Doesn't get great volume on here. Most of these days are all under 1 million, 1.2 million really. So
it's a
not good there.
Well.
Horrible. And then these two are always on here. They just keep gapping down. I mean, they're probably going to hit zero. I mean, they're always on their gap down list. Market's hitting all-time highs, and these two manage to always get on here. I mean, they'll be zero by the end of this month if they keep going like this. So they're just horrible.
If they keep trading like they have been, they're going down quickly.
Yeah, they're definitely getting slammed, guys. So you guys know about these. They just don't trade very well. Be careful with that. All right, let's take a look at what we have. Norm, anything you like this morning? Wendy's.
WEN. It's the best trading stock there is today.
Oh, yes. Why is this not on our list?
ATR.
Okay. They don't move much, right? So, guys,
usually,
they usually do not move much, right? So their ATR is pretty low here, but today is a whole different story. This is top of the list right here. Can we make room? Let's make some room. This is a new row right on there, and we'll put Wendy's in here. Yeah, Wendy's. That's 2 million.
Wall Street Bets, and my understanding is Jim Cramer chimed in on it, and he said he thinks the price is too low as well, so he likes the stock.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Guys, looking very good. 30% up this morning, 2.1. Yeah, I don't think James Cramer wants to go against Wall Street Bets and look bad anymore, right? Is that what's happening?
Probably. Yeah, I guess.
Just kidding, guys. Who knows? But this looks good, guys. Very, very nice pre-market action. When was the last time we even hit some of these numbers? It's been some time, guys. 2021, 2020. Is this all-time highs? Nah.
Yeah. Yes. I think so. It's Baconator area.
Oh, look at this. Oh, no, but it might as well be.
Okay.
Might as well be. Look at this. 20.
Yeah. That makes
20,
sense.
Yeah, 2008. So yeah. This is pretty big. This is pretty big still. It's a long way back. Looking good, guys. Definitely in play today. The best one, as Norm said this morning. All right, let's start here with our chat room. Norm, unless you have another one, let's go into our chat. Lucio.
I had to throw a dart at the high growth names that were really doing well recently and coming back. I mean, that and Wall Street Bets is what's going on here.
Yeah, I fully agree here with you. Lucio and Edwin both giving us NEO. Let's take a look what's happening there. NEO this morning. Yeah, NEO and Tesla both in play today, guys. Tesla is definitely looking very nice right now. They got decent volume, almost 1 million shares traded, and NEO is following the same direction as well. NEO's day looks a little bit better, though, I have to say. Getting past this 44, that is nice. Good day yesterday. You know what? I wanted to look at NEO. Was it yesterday or yeah, it was yesterday. We talked about NEO's daily looking good, and I forgot to actually take a look at it, and look how great NEO was. Man, oh man. All right, so this is looking good today too, guys. I'm going to add it on here. NEO is a nice one this morning. Let's take a look at XPEV. Probably XPEV also on the move. I'm not going to put too many. Wow, look at the V reverse one, XPEV in May. just madness there, guys, going from 23 to 39. So I'm gonna stick with Neo and Tesla. I think right now they have a better pre-market action, a better volume. This one is just insane though, what this one has done. XBEF here. Let's take a look at DAL Delta, how the airline's doing.
Not much.
Delta, yeah, they're not really in play right now. Delta, American Airlines, yeah, they're pretty quiet, guys. So they're just kind of just chilling there, not doing a whole lot at the moment. Let's take a look at X. X right now. X this morning, they're up 1%. It's okay. I like the X, but it was kind of breaking out here, trying to hit some of these levels. The last couple of days really just been consolidating, which is good. We want to see a breakout out of this consolidation, either up or down here. But right now, they're pretty flat right now at the moment. I don't think there's a whole lot going on. So let's wait for something to happen on X and wait for a possible breakout. Neo's good. We have that one. Let's take a look at our buddy Plug. This one can trade very well too. Yes, great. As we mentioned earlier, great volume on this one too. Let's add Plug on here. We won't be able to do too much, guys, because there's a lot already here that looks very good. I don't think we need to. We don't need to search too much today. It's one of those days where things are looking great. LI is one of those stocks that it can gap up nicely. It's up 2.7, 160,000 shares traded, but it doesn't trade as well as some of these other names that we have here. And that's my concern usually with LI. It can be not spready, but it just can be very dull at times. So just be careful. That wasn't the case yesterday, though, I'll tell you that much. Looks like it broke out of here. But even the price action here, you have to look at the price action. It's very weird. It is not clean. So for that reason, I'm going to keep it off my list. If you do like this one, by all means, add it to yours. But I'm going to take it off of mine for today, just because we have so much stuff here that we have going on. Let's take a look at BA this morning. BA, yeah, BA is in play. The airlines are not, but BA is definitely in play, guys. They're up 1.2, 152,000 shares traded. This pre-market action for BA is actually very good. I know you're thinking, boy, these numbers, we have stocks that you took off the list or did not keep on the list, that the numbers looked better, right? Way better. But when you look at this pre-market action and the type of action you get out of BA and the daily,
it's noisy and doesn't often. Unless they've got some really big news, usually their pre-market is a little sluggish anyway, but it can trade well once the market opens.
Yep, exactly. Oh, all right, if that happens to you, if you hit symbol, just right click here and hit user define, and it'll try. Well, it didn't bring it back exactly how I had it, but pretty close. We'll just delete this here and this right here. Hopefully there's no tickers missing. I don't think there is. All right, let's stop here, guys. Let's take a look over on YouTube. What do you guys have this morning? Wendy's we do have, that's on there. Airbnb woke up. Let's see, Airbnb. I don't like the way this one trades. It can be very choppy at times, so be careful with it. I don't think it's a great intraday trading stock, maybe for swing. But for intraday trading, I don't like the way this one moves, so I'm going to keep it off. Wendy's, we have Twitter. Let's take a look what's happening there. The daily, so-so, but just the volume is not there. Twitter doesn't have any volume right now. At the moment, that could change at the market open, and the daily looks great for a possible pop and start to close the gap here that they had a couple of weeks ago. But outside of that, the pre-market action doesn't look very interesting at the moment. VERU today, no, it's confirmed. Oh, there it is. It's just loaded. Does not look good, guys. Volume is very light. It is up 2.6, but outside of that, it doesn't look great. So it was a runner in the past, but we need volume, and we don't have that at the moment. RMED, that's the low from yesterday. What it's doing today? Possible continuation. They're down 5.8. They can get going above the previous day close. You do not have shares for short on this one, so that makes it a little bit more tough after the third day, going into the third day of some decent volume and this breakout. So be careful. Usually the third day is the second day is already hard enough. If they don't get that good continuation, the third day of that is going to be even worse. Could be a lot of chop in there. And if you do not have shares for sure, you're kind of handicapped on what you can do and how you can trade this stock here. BNGO, we do have BNGO on deck, guys, so that's already on there. We'll take a closer look later when we do levels. SMC this morning, what do we have here? Why is it taking so long to load, or this is not a correct ticker? It's not a correct ticker, I think. Let's go next. Let's go next to next. And this one, very active, up 30%, 1.7. We have taken a look at this one in the past. Let's take a look if this is low flow or what. What do we have here? No, 120. million shares flows. Very active. We'll take a closer look at that. Next, AMC we do have. Fubo. No, we have, if it wasn't a different day, but we have so many other things that look great here. I don't think we need to add Fubo. So guys, I think we have a good list. I think we can stop here. Let's go over to our community event, and we'll come back and fine tune this list. We'll have to be picky because there's a lot that looks great this morning.
All right, guys. First, I will say Daniel's mentioning something about captions. I'm not aware that we've done anything to change the captions. Have you changed caption settings, Carlos?
Are you saying on YouTube?
Yeah.
Caption? No, we haven't. We haven't changed anything. But what exactly are you
We'll
seeing?
look into it.
Yeah, we'll look into it. Yeah, I'll talk to you.
He says that this week they started not to show up. So we'll get that taken care of for you, Daniel.
Yeah, we'll check.
All right. I don't think it's anything we've done, but we will make sure that's handled. All right, real quick. Here we go. Jared, tonight, 8 p.m., his delayed webinar on how he does all his engineering the markets work. That will be tonight at 8 p.m. The next week, we're going to have Peter talking about his mountain pass strategy at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Handling Emotions of Trading with our very own world-renowned author, Mike Baer. And then next week, Nate, our mindfulness expert, will be talking about having a wise and healthy relationship with money. Both of those, once again, 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Excuse me. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade with entries and exits on it. Add any commentary you can to describe the strategy and why you took it and partial and all that stuff. Post it on Twitter, tagging at Bearable Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family. Day trading stock market will announce a winner for each day on Twitter and in the room in the afternoon. And then on Monday, we'll announce the trade of the week, which are voted on by the team from all the previous week's trades of the day. If you want to participate in the room, if you want to try out the room and you've been watching us on YouTube, use the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll get you a discount off the test drive membership, which is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days. Does not auto-renew or turn into any other kind of membership. It just shuts off. You have to actively go, then choose a membership category to continue on. That includes the live onboarding classes each and every Monday night live, beginning at 8 with Carlos, Kyle, Mike, technology, all that stuff. And then this is, I updated these slides, but it doesn't look like it's showing up. We now have our 4th of July sale going on. If it's not on the website yet, it will be within the next couple of hours. Use the promo code Fireworks40.
All right, excellent.
Fireworks40 to get 40% off the annual Elite membership.
Sweet. Thank you, Norm. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's look at this list. Let's start with CLOV. This looks good. Definitely in play. Very active, very explosive right now. We'll keep an eye on that one. Wendy's, probably one of the best looking stocks here. 3.2 right now, 24% up this morning. It's just a beautiful thing there. Workhorse is looking decent as well. Let's just hope they can maintain this beautiful pre-market action we're getting here. 1.1 million shares already, up 8%. That's definitely staying on my list. BNGO has got volume also. They're up 1.8. Pre-market action is okay, not as great as the 3 we just saw, right? These 3 have an amazing, clean, nice pre-market action, right? So that's looking pretty good. Setting the bar pretty high there for BNGO. So we'll see. Maybe a possible. FuelCell this morning also has a great pre-market action. Has a beautiful flow here at the moment. 1.5 up 5.6. Their daily also looking rather nice as well. Very clean. BB definitely in play, guys, and AMC. AMC, it's in play, but I think BB is looking slightly better this morning. So let's make some room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got to get rid of just one. That's good because this list looks very good right now. I like almost everything on here. I think BNGO might be the one that might have to take a seat here. Yeah, I think BNGO. So we'll move that one down. Again, it is great, guys, but we just got to fine tune this list. We can't watch everything. Not everything could be on the on the main list here. So CLV looks very good. Let's go through it again. Wendy's is amazing. Workhorse could be hit or miss, but it looks good today. I like their daily for a possible breakout here out of this pre-market. I'm sorry, above these daily highs right there. So that looks good. Fuel cell right now, I like the pre-market action, great volume. BB is good. Possible breakout here. They traded so clean yesterday. I'm still impressed on how clean that was. And then here is AMC, which again, they have some volume, 7.8, pushing things around. Let's see if they can get that nice breakout off this daily too. All right, so that's already a blockbuster list there. Let's take a look at our secondary list. We have BNGO here, which is nice. We have Space, which also looks very good on the daily, guys. A great possible. Next is, Next is moving. I know they're up 25%, 2 million shares traded. It's good potential, but we just can't watch this many. I'm going to take this one off. I'd rather keep an eye on something like NIO and Tesla. They're looking both really good this morning, up nicely, great volume. CCIV, yes, this is looking good as well. Man, this secondary list could be a main list on its own. That's how good things are this morning, how much activity we have. Envis doesn't look great, guys. I love the potential of this breakout, but the pre-market action is a little bit dull right now. That can change. We have to take this one off and just wait for it to hit the scanners today. We just can't watch this one, so we'll move that one out of the way. CCIV is good, and then we have TI GR here, which is it's okay. It's not great. And then we have more. We have Plug. I like Plug, so I like Plug better than TIGR. Really, let's get rid of TIGR. I think Plug could be a good one at times. BA. I like the daily on BA for a possible breakout, so I think that's pretty good there. Let's leave it there. We'll do some levels. We'll come back and fine tune it even more. I already see the moderators already are throwing out their list. You know why? Because it's such a good day today that they're done early. I already see 3 of them, Thor, Dima, and Mike, already know what they're going to trade today. It's only 9:03. So kind of tells you it's not hard to build your list on a day like today. You gotta be picky. You gotta be picky. You cannot watch everything, and you cannot have this fear of FOMO where you're adding everything to your list because you have the fear that you're gonna miss out on something. Guess what? You are gonna miss out on something. That's okay. Just focus on the list that you have. And it's better to be fine-tuned than to watch everything and be all over the place and not be focused on your trading. So that is more important. No, don't worry if you miss a move. That's fine. We'll come back tomorrow and get it. All right, CLV. Let's start here. High of the pre-market sitting at 16.95. We'll throw a level there. Low of the pre-market 12.93. We'll get that set up. Nice big range right now already, looking really good. Looking to the left here, we have some choppy daily. This is not clean. So the two best levels in here clearly are what the pre-market highs and pre-market lows have done right now, 12.93 and obviously 16.95. You start getting in here, things are really all over the place. We'll do the best we can where there's some touches. We see 15 to 47. There's a lot on here. A couple of days opening and closing right around this area, so that's pretty good. We can mark that down. We might have something down here as well at around, what is this? This will be 14.30. And the reason I think this one looks good is because you have a couple of days using that as support right on here, a couple of touches here, and then you have a little bit of resistance, actually a lot of resistance right on here, before we do this breakout. So I think 14.30, 15.47 within the highs and lows right now look pretty good. Let's see how that's reacting to our pre-market. Yeah, actually, it's looking good in our pre-market action as well. Look at that. We're respecting some of these levels, so that's pretty good. So that's all we have. Do we have anything above this? We do. We have it slightly above 1741 is your all-time highs, maybe. Let's take a look. Yes, that is your all-time highs. You don't have anything else above that, so that looks pretty good right there. Towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. So you are set there. Wendy's looking really, really good right now. And I'm talking about the food, talking about the charts. 29.94 high of your pre-market at the moment. The low sitting all the way down at 23.32. So all the way down here, 23.32. And we haven't been up here, guys, since 2008. We went all the way back and checked. So towards the bottom, 24.15, good level here. We'll keep that eyes on that one. And then let's see here. Do we have anything in between here? We have another level right up here. Whoops, stop scrolling. Right in here, about around 25, 24.80. Again, we'll have to go really far back. I don't know how good these levels are going to be if we dive into 2007. 2007 right over here, 29.92. we have a little bit of time. We can fool around with this a little bit here. Right over here again. I don't know how great these levels are going to be. They're really old, guys. 35.11. We have another level right on here around 32.86. And then one over here looks good here at 30.94, maybe 31 to be more exact. Yeah, so that looks good right there. In the pre-market right now, we do have a level right on here too. I'm going to mark this down. We have 29 and we also have 27. I know, tons of levels. I know, but guys, this thing is moving. The low of this is 23. The high is 30. That's $7 move. So we got a couple of levels here back from 2008 that are actually not looking all so bad. So we'll see how this plays out. Let me get rid of this one. Did not mean to add that 26. There we go. We'll see how it goes. Let's get back to present day. And this is what we have, guys. We have 30.94 above that, and we'll see how this is going to play out. All right, Wendy's looking very good. Workhorse right now, looking okay, up 7% this morning, 1.2 million shares traded. The numbers look great. It's just, can we carry that on to the market open? That is usually the issue with a Workhorse. It won't carry this great action into the market open. So let's hope today it does. We have another level here around 1636, great area of resistance. The main resistance, the main level is going to be this one up here, which is 1822. Here you clearly have a lot of resistance, change in direction. This one here, the 1636, we have a lot of days opening and closing right around that area. Their wicks are getting closer to that 1822, but it's still a good level to have here. I think you can put some weight on that. Maybe not as much as that 1822, but I think it'll be good to have that in there as a good midpoint. Towards the bottom, guys, you do not need to add anything. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days are pretty much taking care of you here. Heading down to the next one, we have Fuel Cell. Great pre-market action right now. 1.6 million shares traded. High of the pre-market, 12.6 this morning. Above that's a great level too. Look how great that is setting up here. Area of great resistance right on there. So support here and here, so that's good. Slightly above that, you do have another level here at 15.53, so we'll throw a level there also. That's a good area of support and resistance, and I think that's pretty much all you have on here. Towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. This is pretty big gap though. I would like to find, if we can, if there is oh yeah, there is another level in here, which is going to be this one, 14. 14, great area of support here. You have some support happening here as well. A lot of support happening here before we had the nice little breakdown towards the high of the pre-market now, which was support here, now acting as resistance. So some pretty good levels in here towards the top, 1397 and 1553. BB this morning, they are on fire, guys, about to break high of the pre-market here as we're moving up. And man, this thing is just, it's insane. Up 7%, 7.3 million shares traded. It is trading cleaner than AMC so far. AMC starts to break out of this and goes nuts. It can be fun too, but they're looking pretty good. As far as levels, towards the top, you have a very clean one, 2020. Let's throw a level on there. You can mark this one too, that guys, 1897. That was the opening of this day here before we pushed up and then slammed down. The only other levels you can be able to find in here is you got to go in this intraday action and see what else you have there. We can do that quickly. 9:10. Yeah, we got a little bit of time. Let's see if we can go in there in our 5-minute and see what do we have in that intraday. That would have been on 6.3, which is right over here. Yeah, so we got some stuff we can pull off. High of the pre-market for that day was 21.50, looks like. Let's mark that down there. And then I think that's that's way up high. We need to go lower. So that's high. That's going to be all the way up here, which is the pre-market high. So that's good. That's 6.2. No, 6.3. We can still keep that. But then towards the bottom here, let's see if we have something good right over here. Maybe 18.13 is good. And then we also have another one right over here at 17. Again, do not put too much weight on these two guys. We're taking them from the intraday. They're not daily levels, but again, you have nothing else to go by right now. So it's good to have something in here just to gauge yourself, be able to manage your risk and calculate risk to reward type things, right? Right now, I'm going to mark down the pre-market high at the moment as 17. We'll do 17. Let's see if we can get there. That's a whole dollar number. I expect for it to slow down or just completely take off there. We'll throw that there for now because I think the pre-market high is going to continue to go higher here on BB. AMC this morning also active. Pre-market action looking okay. This thing is just like setting up. It looks like it's just setting up for a nice breakout. High of the pre-market 58.75, but I'm putting it a little bit lower because here is where you have a lot of action, a lot of touches right on there. So that looks good. Let's see what this thing is going to do. Slightly above that, I am going to mark down the closing of this day here. We do have a right over here at a 62.33, 68.68, and then we have a 72. Guys, this stock was $2 just end of last year, $2, sitting at 58 today. Insane, just madness. Towards the bottom, highs and lows, previous day close are doing an amazing job for you. You do not need to add anything else. Secondary list looks good too, guys. BNGO, we have Space, we have NEO, looks good. I like NEO a whole lot actually. Tesla is definitely in play, guys. This should be on your list if you like Tesla. CCIV, yeah, we just got just a ton of stuff that you can watch. More interestingly, let's see what the moderators have on their list, because it's going to be fun to see the different watch list that everybody has today when everything is looking so good. Not everything, but a lot is looking great. Let's resize this. Let's bring this over here, and we will make this a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, let's go up. Who do we have? We have Thor's. Thor's coming in with Wendy's, NEO, and XPEF. Secondary list, CCL, NCLH, and Plug. Dima is looking at Fuel Cell, LI, Plug, and NEO. Mike is looking at BA, mRNA, and NVIDIA this morning. Eamon likes PFE, OCGN, Space, secondary list, Disca, NKLA, and Microsoft. Tiffany's looking at Wendy's, Tesla, and AMC. All three of them just blockbuster status right now. Secondary list, CLV, Workhorse. IPOs for today, ZME, SPKAU. Second.
That sounds like a great one.
Right, SPKAU. Sounds amazing. Peter's looking at AMD, BB, CLV, secondary list, FSLY, Fuel Cell, and AMC on his end. And then John is looking at Facebook, Tesla, GameStop. Jared is looking at Tesla, AMC, BB, and CLOV this morning. So that's the list, guys. We have a lot. We have a lot going on. It's definitely gonna be an interesting morning. Busy day. Guys, a reminder today, again, I know that we say this often, but it's important because we know what it's like, because same thing happened to us when we started trading. Everybody's going to have their list today. There's stuff on here. If you look at the moderators list, everybody's watching something slightly different that's even not on my list or not on everybody else's list, right? You cannot go hunting, jumping left to right on different tickers looking for a move. That's the worst thing you can do. So stick to the watch list you have. It's a great watch list. Trust me, I know, because it's on a day like today, you can have an amazing watch list and be different than anybody else. And just focus on that. Focus on your trade book and finding a move there. If somebody calls something else out, you can look at it, but don't go flipping back and forth on position. That's a very tough thing to do. What will happen is that you will get out your position because somebody else calls something else out that's working out. You're going to close your position. You're going to go to that one. You're going to be late and chase it. And guess what? Your position that you got out of just ends up working. There's nothing more frustrating than that. And that is what will happen if you go bouncing around. So very important that you do not do that. That is the type of FOMO. Do not have FOMO today, guys. There's a lot here in play. Be patient, okay? Cannot stress that enough. With that said, guys, over on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hit that thumbs up. It takes you a second or two, but it means a whole lot to us on our end from Norm and I. So we highly appreciate that. First time here, we do this every Monday through Friday. So consider subscribing, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Tonight, success webinar with Jared talking about engineering the market. So definitely do not miss that one. That's going to be tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Take care, guys. Brian is in with his list. Let's jump there. CLOV, BB, Wendy's, LBRT for now, and he's still looking at some other things. So he's going to jump on the mic next with Andrew and take us through the market open. Take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.